When President Cyril Ramaphosa walked into the National Council of Provinces this week, the air was already heavy with anticipation. Everyone knew that this wasn't going to be an ordinary question and answer session. The president was under pressure, not just from opposition parties, but from within his own ranks. And the question that hung over the chamber was simple. Does Cyril Ramaphosa apply double standards when it comes to disciplining his ministers? It's a question that's been whispered in the corridors of power for months. And on this day, it finally exploded into the open. DA member Nzamo Billy from KwaZulu-Natal stood up and asked the question many South Africans have been asking themselves. Why was Police Minister Senzo Mchunu suspended over allegations of interference in criminal cases, while Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane, also accused of corruption, continues to serve without consequence? Was Ramaphosa protecting his allies while punishing his opponents? The president, calm but visibly firm, dismissed the claims outright. No, he said, I do not have double standards. His tone was measured, but there was a flicker of frustration beneath it. As the person who appoints members to the national executive, he continued, I evaluate each case on its own merits. I look at the facts, I read the reports, and I make my decisions without fear, without favor, and without prejudice. But for many South Africans, those words weren't enough. They wanted to see action, or at least consistency. The timing of Mchunu's suspension, the background of his alleged misconduct, and the political weight behind it have all raised uncomfortable questions about how Ramaphosa's administration handles internal crises. To understand this moment, we need to go back a few months to when the political storm around Senzo Mchunu first began. Mchunu, a longtime ANC figure and former premier of KwaZulu-Natal, was suddenly accused by Provincial Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi of meddling in police operations. Mkhwanazi alleged that Mchunu had ordered the disbandment of the province's Political Killings Task Team, a special unit created to investigate the assassinations of politicians, whistleblowers, and even prominent entertainment figures. According to Mkhwanazi, Mchunu's directive came after pressure from associates involved in serious crimes. One of those associates, businessman Vusi Cat Madlanga, was already facing attempted murder charges. He, along with political strategist Brown Magatsi, was accused of helping fund Mchunu's political activities. The pair's alleged influence raised alarm bells, not just within the police service, but inside Luthuli House itself. It painted a picture of ministers surrounded by controversy, and Ramaphosa had little choice but to act. The president responded by placing Mchunu on special leave and announcing the formation of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. To get to the truth, he also appointed Professor Firoz Kekalia as acting police minister. Political analysts described this move as a calculated balancing act. On one hand, it showed that Ramaphosa was willing to take action against senior figures accused of wrongdoing. But on the other, it allowed him to avoid firing Mchunu outright, something that could have triggered a backlash within the ANC, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, where Mchunu still commands significant influence. And that brings us back to the main question. If Ramaphosa could suspend Mchunu over allegations, why not Thembi Simelane? Simelane's name has long been associated with controversy. Her political rise was marked by charisma and ambition, but also by whispers of scandal. Years ago, when she was still the mayor of Polokwane, she reportedly took AR 575,000 loan from the now-collapsed VBS Mutual Bank to buy a coffee shop in Sandton. The deal, linked to a bank that became a symbol of financial misconduct in South Africa, left many wondering whether Simelane had benefited improperly. When she later became Minister of Justice, questions about her ethics resurfaced in Parliament, but she denied any wrongdoing. Eventually, Ramaphosa reshuffled his cabinet, moving her from Justice to Human Settlements, and replacing her with Mameloko Kabay. At the time, critics accused the president of simply shifting the problem instead of solving it. Simelane's move looked less like a demotion and more like a quiet rescue, a way of protecting an ally while maintaining the image of accountability. This is why opposition leaders, and even some inside the ANC, are now questioning Ramaphosa's consistency. When he suspended Mchunu, the message was clear. The president was cracking down on corruption and political interference. But his softer handling of Simelane seems to tell a different story, one where loyalty may outweigh accountability. Ramaphosa, of course, insists that each case is unique. He argues that his decisions are based on facts, not politics. And to his credit, he has taken some bold steps in the past, from commissioning independent inquiries to reconfiguring the cabinet in ways that aim to restore public trust. But the reality is that South Africans are tired of selective justice. They've seen too many promises of reform fade into political compromise. The perception of double standards is a dangerous thing in politics. It can erode the very trust that leaders like Ramaphosa rely on to govern effectively. In a country still recovering from years of corruption, state capture, and public disillusionment, even the appearance of bias can reignite old frustrations. And while Ramaphosa's defenders say his patience reflects due process, his critics argue it reflects hesitation, a reluctance to confront allies who may still hold political capital within the ANC. The stakes are higher than they appear. The government of national unity, already fragile and stitched together through difficult negotiations, depends on perception of fairness. If one minister is punished while another walks free, that perception crumbles. And when it does, so does the credibility of the GNU itself. Behind closed doors, ANC insiders admit that the president is under pressure from multiple sides. Some want him to assert authority and show that no one is above the law. Others fear that aggressive action could deepen divisions in an already fractured party. KwaZulu-Natal, in particular, has become a political minefield, with loyalty to Mchunu clashing against loyalty to Ramaphosa, and whispers of factional plotting spreading through the ranks. For Ramaphosa, every decision has consequences. Suspend too quickly, and you risk alienating allies. Wait too long, and you appear weak. It's a delicate balancing act, one that has defined his presidency from the very beginning. But now, as his words echo in the chamber, no fear, no favor, no prejudice. The question remains whether South Africans still believe him. Outside Parliament, ordinary citizens are less patient. They want to see justice applied equally, whether the accused is a loyal ally or a political opponent. To them, fairness isn't about strategy or timing. It's about principle. And if Ramaphosa wants to preserve his image as a leader of integrity, he may soon need to prove that his words carry weight, even when they come at a political cost. As the Madlanga Commission continues its work and investigations unfold, all eyes will remain on the president. Will he uphold the same standard for every minister, or will politics once again shape justice in South Africa? The months ahead will reveal whether Ramaphosa's promises of accountability are truly grounded in action, or just another chapter in the endless cycle of political protection and public disappointment. South Africans are watching closely. They've seen this story before. Leaders making promises, commissions being formed, and scandals slowly fading into silence. But this time, the stakes feel different. The country's patience is running out, and the president's credibility is on the line. So, what do you think? Was Ramaphosa right to suspend Mchunu while sparing Simelane? Or is this another example of political double standards at play? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoy in-depth political analysis like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story. Join the discussion, because your voice matters, and together we keep the spotlight shining on the truth behind South Africa's politics.